we're also looking at an administration that is, their polling numbers are now so deep. The Marianas Trench is the equivalent politically. Trump is now getting into the very low 30s, 32 as of today. And it's all being driven by this incredibly insane war. So as of this afternoon, we have J.D. Vance going to Pakistan, then not going to Pakistan, then maybe going to Pakistan tonight. The Iranians saying they don't want a ceasefire, then Trump saying he's giving them a ceasefire whether they want one or not. Where does this stand with you guys? I mean, I think this cannot help Trump unless he fully gets out, and then I think it destroys him, ironically.
Joe?
Yeah, look, I think you got to remember going back to the people who, the 31% of Republicans who thought like ICE wasn't being brutal enough. That you can see in the way MAGA's looking at this thing, that there's a whole group that like doesn't want us. They want him to take out the Iranians. They want that. And then there's the other group that, hey, you told us we weren't going to go into forever wars. So I don't think either way. I don't think there's any chance this plays out in a way that doesn't continue to lower, literally, because when you're down near where we started out with, you talking about 32% approval. With independents, it was 27% in that same poll. So you got to wonder, how does it go any lower? And the only way it does go lower is if you start. Only 70% of Republicans in that poll approved of his performance as president.
Going great.
So the only way it gets any lower is if there further fracture and lack of energy on the Republican side happens, and I don't see how he avoids that.
Yeah,
I heard an interesting thing. My favorite Ukraine Telegraph podcast now has an Iran version of that, and they were talking about the unintended consequences of the Iran war on elections in Hungary. That it really split, that the right was against it in the same way the right is against wars, the same people. And that it wasn't just that it split a MAGA base, that they were attributing one of the reasons for the unexpected magnitude of the victory was that part of their base ended up sort of collapsing on them and just not showing up. And the J.D. Vance, they said the polling shows that when J.D. Vance came, they dropped like 10 points.
Listen, I said this on Katie Tur today. I think everybody who in J.D. Vance's world have been making all those phone calls to big donors and starting to try to set up the pregame for 2028. I think he will be the weakest nominee for president. He will make Al Gore look like a pillar of strength. He will be the weakest former vice president going into a presidential election, the weakest front runner we've ever seen.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't see, again, he's screwed because he's not going to be able to negotiate peace.
Oh no. Yeah, anybody who thinks that the Iranians respect JD, Jared, and Witkoff.
The Persian Empire versus J.D. Vance. I'm going to take the Persians and give the points.
But the other thing here is getting back to the Orban thing. It's interesting. You can understand why Trump believes his numbers are sky high and he's winning everything, because his pollster McLaughlin
is lying to him.
Yeah. Basically put a poll out days before the election in Hungary saying Orban was going to win handily. Yeah. And then oops. And so he's doing the same thing. I used to be our office used to be in the same building as his. And I used to think he was back then a decent pollster, but I don't know what's going on. I mean, now it's cooking numbers or just flat out making stuff up.
I think he is in the same box as all these cabinet secretaries who've been telling Trump for a year, everything's great. Everything's great. Right. Everything's great. No one cares about the Epstein files, Mr. President. Okay. Yeah. We're taking down all your political enemies, Mr. President. Okay. We're going to
Yeah.
win this. Venezuela is a great triumph for freedom, Mr. President. None of it's real. That's why he's suddenly firing everybody. I got a piece coming out tomorrow about this, where he's just going through the administration now. He didn't want to fire anybody at first because he thought it would give the media a win. But now he's firing people left and right because he's in a panic. He needs to try to change the subject. I don't think any of it helps him, though. There's no world where this gets like easier for him.